Woo! Good evening, my friends. Oh my goodness, what a fucking day. Jesus. Oh man. So good to see you guys. I'm really glad you guys are here. Because I know that everyone is probably either coming from or were coming from Better OTV. So it's good to see you guys. Um, I yeah, a lot of stuff. Yeah, a lot of stuff to talk about today. Um, and it's I like to be able to take a second, take a beat before I go live about these things because you know, I don't like to be as angry about them, you know. I mean, there's things I like to react to, but this is not one of those things. Not necessarily anyway.
Oh, here we go. Yeah.
I think we got a super cat. Super cat. I think we got a super cat. Super cat. Super cat. Super cat. I think we got a super cat.
How dare you?
Oh my god, man. Thank you so much. Colin Albert did it. OMG Aggie. Yes. Colin totally fucking did that shit. At least in this independent commentator's opinion. Yeah, man. So oh wait, let me that message is too long, but SD just dropped this in the chat, and thank you for dropping that, SD. I am going to pin the short version to the top of the chat. Beat you. Too late. Too late. Too late. So yeah, it's been an interesting day. I have got a little laundry done, but most of the day was pretty lazy. I get kind of bummed out when it's sunny and really nice for a few days, and then it's just rainy and shitty, and then I'm just like, it just totally gets to me. And then of course there's these decisions that have come through from Auntie Bev, and one is particularly interesting. Now, let me get you guys' opinion on something here before we get into all that stuff. There's a little twerp, okay? let me show you. Let me show you guys real quick. This is just fun. Now, this is a bonus petty. This is a bonus pettiness, okay? I know I do petty streams for members only, but this is a bonus petty. It's not going to be a petty stream, but a little pettiness. Just because I want to let you guys weigh in on stuff here. I want to let you guys weigh in on stuff here because it's fun. So this guy has been relentless, man. He just wants my attention so bad. And I'm not one of these creators, man, that I act like I'm too big or, you know, whatever. You know, like I like to play with little toys here and there from time to time. You know what I mean? I don't mind you know, playing in the mud a little bit, no matter how many subscribers I end up with and all that stuff, you know. I'm never too big to talk to a creator who's just starting out or just starting out because their channels have been deleted before. So let me give you guys a little taste of this real quick. Now, keep in mind, after I show you this, I'll present you guys with a couple of options. Okay.
There we go. Welcome, everybody. I'm sorry for the confusion. Something went totally astray.
Yeah, Sue O'Connell's secret crush apparently decided to go live. He's been all over X all day, whining and bitching, and wanting to debate, quote unquote. And he titled this "Hater Debate," thinking that I would join his stream. Unfortunately, this was the earliest that I could stream, but I may be willing to provide an option. But
Straight with my restream.
1 second. Let's hear this.
Because I made one before with the thumbnail, then it showed without a thumbnail, and it showed the thumbnail. Really confusing shit.
Riveting shit so far, guy.
So it is what it is. So I'm just gonna make a coffee real quick.
Okay.
And meanwhile, so just in advance, this is going to be a longer stream because it's going to be an open panel. So everybody that wants to debate me, feel free. It kind of has.
Let's see something.
It's reasons why it's an open panel. Because this big ass YouTuber,
it's
or what he wants to call himself,
it's an open panel.
Decided to call me a retard. So I will show how much a retard that I am.
You are a retard.
Open
panel, and nobody showed up. Nobody clicked on it. Nobody gave a fuck enough about this guy to porn bomb him. Like, that's amazing. Nobody gave even enough a fuck about this guy to even porn bomb him. He opened his panel and nobody fucking showed up. And this was supposed to, like, it was designed to call me out, right? So I wanted to let you guys get a glimpse of this because I leave this up to the people. Okay. I leave these things up to the people. And when I don't leave these things up to the people, sometimes it bites me in the ass. So, but sometimes when it comes to these things, I do like to leave these things up to the people if I remember to do so. So, let me do this real quick. I'll let this guy entertain you while I do
Gotta
this.
prove shit. So let's go. And if he has the ball to actually show up, that would be fantastic. And he probably will not, because he's a goddamn wuss. So yeah.
I love this guy, dude. This guy's like my new favorite right now.
Because trust me, even if he's not here, we're gonna go through the entire scrupulent conspiracy, I guess, and debunk them one by one. And I'm not gonna do any presentation. I'm too lazy for that. So you guys need to take my word for it. You can do all the Googling that you want. That's fine. I will have anybody on that is a free carry reader, or anybody that has a reasonable doubt, because there shouldn't be any reasonable doubt. There was reasonable doubt created, as a good defense team should do, but not in a majority as it's being presented right now. Because it's scary.
I think he's
it's
sober.
Not only scary because you Americans believe in.
I mean, it's the middle of the day.
System,
I hope he's sober.
But if you believe in your judicial system, then shouldn't you kind of figure out that the evidence is goddamn evidence? That it's not just some made-up lie. But apparently, everything that the defense is saying, oh yeah, that's true, right? I don't think it works that way. It's fine. It's fine if you're an anti-government individual. If you're First Amendment,
it doesn't work that way. Yeah, the defense never tells the truth. It just doesn't work that. I don't think it works that way. The defense saying that something is true, I don't think it works that way. Not in a society where you're innocent until proven guilty. No.
Amendment auditor. I mean, fair enough. You kind of have a mental issue yourself. But, if you want to debate that, sure. I will send you the link, hop on, and you can wind my ears full because there's nothing that it's going to convince.
Yes. You got it correct, folks. This is lesbians James Spader.
Me out of the way. I'm already dead set on what I believe. And that is how an investigation is supposed to be going. Is that you have evidence. That evidence can be scrutinized. We need proper evidence of that. You can't just fucking mud at the wall.
Oh, here we go.
I think we got a super cat. Super cat. I think we got a super cat. Super cat. Super cat. Super cat. I think we got a super cat.
How dare you?
This is the time on Sprockets when we dance. Yeah, dude, he totally looks like Dieter, bro. Hello, my name is Dieter. Yesterday was Valentine's Day and I loved it. I gave my lover a rose quartz and a tongue bath. Oh my God, dude.
See what's next? That's not how it fucking works. You cannot just make up shit. It doesn't work that way, does it? But I guess we will go over that. And trust me, folks, there's nothing in the world that is going to convince me otherwise. And people can try. Sure.
All right, let's check the poll here real quick. I got to look at the poll.
Oh, really? Yeah, you got him acquitted. Sure. He's a good defense attorney, I guess. But see, the thing is that when you have a high profile case, there are some high profile individuals that go after fucking everybody they can
206
just to
votes
prove their point.
is enough for me.
That is unfair.
This is a clear,
it is fucking unfair.
a clear
because
variance.
It doesn't scrutinize the evidence. It scrutinizes jurors, the evidence. It's a law 101 to go after the investigation, right? But to blame people that had nothing to do with the crime, that is a different story.
Oh, this guy's great.
Because that is cheating.
Hold on. Now, where's this guy's blowing up my shit all fucking day, and I can't find one of his fucking bullshit tweets so I can send him a link.
I have a lot of knowledge about how the U.S. conducts their investigations.
Do you? Do you?
How
I
works
can't wait to
how
hear
reasonable that works.
Hold on.
Also, how probable cause works. Because the difference between reasonable doubt and probable cause, it's kind of a huge majority of how people interpreted it, right? And when fucking creators have an opinion, wouldn't you think that opinion is based on their knowledge of science, on how investigations work? Because, in all fairness, we have all these fancy fucking big YouTube creators, at least that's what they present to me. These big majority YouTube creators that need to hone in on certain opinions without the lack of knowledge on what fucking the free Newtonian laws are. By the way, that's the law of inertia, law of acceleration, and a law of action reaction, just so you know. But
all right,
if you're gonna have such an opinion on the forensic methods, wouldn't you want a basic forensic understanding? I mean, how many people say in Karen case, oh my God, I don't care.
Jesus, dude. Oh my God. Okay, I sent him a link. Okay, because you guys voted for me to send him a link. So I did. All right. So right now, what we're gonna do, we're gonna go over. In the meantime, while we wait for him, we'll go over some of these bullshit. Some of these bullshit findings from Bev. And the two that really stick out, I think we all know which ones they are. Oh, there it is. Yep, that's exactly the one I want. Okay. Okay. All right. So the first one is Judge Bev's decision to exclude Michael Easter, who is the FBI expert who was selected or called upon by the defense to testify as to how as to what minimum standards of how an investigation should be conducted. So it's really interesting to me that that she denied this motion. Regina, thank you so much. Thank you for all you have done to bring the real to the case. You are an amazing human who deserves a lot of gratitude. There should be more like you in the world. Wow, that's really sweet. Thank you, man. That's awesome. How sweet. Colin Albert did it. Justice will be served one day. Free Kara Reed. Justice for John O'Keefe. Free Turtle Boy. And R.I.P. Chloe. Thank you. Appreciate it. So this is excuse me, this is Bev's her decision on the Michael Easter thing. All right, listen, bro. I'm not gonna argue with you. Pussy, you had a chance to get some attention on your channel and you blew it. Right. That's it. All right. So he answered with some excuse, and then I was like, yeah, you had your chance. We got more important things to worry about. But I gave him a chance. So now I find this interesting because this is the easiest thing in the world. Like, why can't this guy testify as to what the standards are in an investigation? Why would that be bad? I mean, why would that be bad? Makes no sense. But I mean, it's bad for the defense. It's bad for the defense, but don't you think that if Bev wasn't biased, that she would welcome any expert like all the other experts? You know, like an expert such as one who can determine which way the wind's gonna fucking blow based on how it's blowing now. Who could determine that, and since he can determine that, can determine how hard the ground is going to be when it's cold, even though the wind has fucking nothing to do with the ground, has nothing to do with soil, has nothing to do with rocks, nothing to do with anything that the ground is made up of, right? But you know, he could this guy who is a wind blow expert is going to testify to this. Bev allows that, but not an FBI, an FBI agent, seasoned, a decorated dude who can simply testify to the basic minimum aspects of what should happen in an investigation where there's a dead cop. I don't see the problem, but Bev apparently does. Defendants have the right to base their defense on the failure of police adequately to investigate. In order to raise the issue of reasonable doubt as to the defendant's guilt in the minds of the jury, blah, 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 citing blah, blah, blah. To support a so-called Bowden defense, a defendant may present evidence that certain tests were not conducted, that certain police procedures were not followed, or that certain information known to the police about another suspect was not investigated. In circumstances in which it was reasonable to expect the police should have conducted such tests, followed such procedures, or investigated such information. An expert may, when appropriate, be used to support a Bowden defense on matters beyond the common knowledge of the jurors. Considering whether counsel's failure to use a forensic expert to testify about gunpowder residue and measurement of bullet trajectories deprived the defendant of a chance to assert a Bowden defense. The role of expert testimony is to assist jurors in interpreting evidence that lies outside the common practice, or I'm sorry, outside the common experience. And thank you for gifting a membership. If I miss any of these guys, I apologize. I'll try to remember to go back. But you know how I get when I rant. But Liz, thank you for gifting a membership. I appreciate it. And Kim, thank you so much. Rant for today. The state of Massachusetts has now determined that the only way Karen Reed is going to receive a fair trial is by allowing her no experts. Yeah, I mean, in a nutshell, that's a great way of wording it. In a nutshell, Judge Beverly Cannoni's only words: I'm going to deny you the experts you need so that you can get a fair trial. Liz gifted another membership. Thank you so much, Liz. An expert may, when appropriate, be used to support Bowden defense on matters beyond the common knowledge of the jurors. Blah, blah, blah. Considering counsel's failure to use a forensic expert to testify about gunpowder residue and measurement of bullet trajectories deprive the defendant of a chance to assert a Bowden defense. The role of the expert testimony is to assist jurors in interpreting evidence that lies outside their common experience. Thus, the first foundational element that the proponent of expert testimony must establish in that testimony will assist the trier of fact to understand the evidence or to determine a fact in issue. Blah, blah, blah. She's just citing shit that we don't care about. In support of her Bowden defense, the defendant here seeks to admit expert testimony from Michael Easter, a retired agent of the Federal Bureau of Investigation, to opine on law enforcement's failure to adhere to standard investigative policies and protocols in this case. More specifically, Easter's expert report indicates that he will testify that the investigation in this case was not reliable due to the lack of secured crime scene, absence of a detailed crime scene log, or evidence chain of custody, the failure to separate witnesses, and the premature categorization of an individuals as witnesses and potentially biased based on the failure to investigate other suspects and obtain their cell phone records. Absolutely 100%. Literally scratching the surface of what was wrong with this investigation. Literally just scratching the surface of what was wrong initially with this investigation. And that's it. But for some reason, this judge doesn't want a jury to hear this. Why? And I'm sure we're going to get to this, whatever excuse she has. More specifically, Easter's expert report indicates that he will testify that the investigation in this case. Okay, I already read that. Sorry. The lack of authority The lack of authority suggests that during all the jury trials where the defense has been inadequate police investigation based on Bowden expert testimony has not been needed for the jury to be able to evaluate the reliability of the Commonwealth's case and whether any failures in investigatory steps are sufficient to create a reasonable doubt of the defendant's guilt. Huh. Let me read that one more time. The lack of authority suggests that during all, what lack of authority is she talking about? The court cannot find, nor has defense counsel cited one Massachusetts case where an expert was permitted to opine on the general competency of a police investigation. Wow. The lack of authority suggests that during all the jury trials where the defense has been inadequate police investigation, this is a typo, that's why it got screwed up there, based on Bowden experienced testimony has not been needed for the jury to be able to evaluate the reliability of the Commonwealth's case and whether any failures in investigatory steps are sufficient to create a reasonable doubt of the defendant's guilt. So what she's saying here to justify her bullshit is that there's no case that she can cite where the defense called on an expert, like a former law enforcement agent, as an expert to testify as to the practices of law enforcement in a case, anything like this or otherwise, which is really, really interesting. It's really fun because the fact that there is no case in Massachusetts history that she can cite, and something tells me that's not correct. Something tells me that's not correct. Now, I don't know, but I find that to be somewhat impossible. Maybe it's true, but if it's not true, if what she's saying is wrong, I guarantee there will be a motion to overturn this decision based on cases that Alessi found and cites in this motion that we hope will come one day soon. I hope will come one day. So, but I find it really difficult to believe that there's no case in Massachusetts history, because Massachusetts is as old as this country. So there's no case in all of the, 249 years that we've been a country. The whole 249 years that we've been a country, there's never been a case where the defense called upon an expert to opine on law enforcement tactics, law enforcement procedure. Marianne, thank you so much. Has anyone been to see if Chloe is in fact at their daughter's house? There's a rumor. Oh, I don't know. Why would anybody go do that? Don't do that. Yeah, don't do that. Don't go see if the dog is there. What is that? That's stalker shit. Don't do that. Farty Marty, thank you so much. No case, because case like this don't go to trial. Right. That's a good point. But I'm sure there have been cases that have gone to trial where police procedure should have been on the up and up. What do I got here? Sorry, I'm getting some. I think she already sent this to me. Yeah. Sorry, guys. I'm getting a shit ton of court documents right now. And I'm just trying to determine which ones I should go over and which ones are not necessary to go over. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not going to go over every single thing here. So, okay, here's the questionnaire for the jury. We can do that. We can go over the jury questionnaire. Thing is that I don't want to make it too late of a night because tomorrow's a hearing. So, tomorrow is jury selection. First day. Okay. Okay. Yeah, a lot of this stuff is just stuff that got filed at the last minute here. Like I've got the jurors questionnaire, which is interesting. I'm sure that might be interesting to go over. And then we've got a request for a larger screen in the courtroom. We've got Commonwealth's motion for parameters of jury impanelment. And then we've got Commonwealth's motion to impound exhibit in support of Commonwealth's motion to compel reciprocal discovery of ARCA witnesses to exclude their testimonies. Okay. Jesus, man. Commonwealth's renewed motion in limine to exclude expert testimony of Garrett Wing. Okay. Yeah. All right. So this I find it difficult to believe that there's never been a case in Massachusetts history. But let's just say that there is, right? Let's just say that there is. So why the fuck can't, how is that a reason why you would deny that? Like you expect if the defendant is to have a fair trial and the defendant is accusing law enforcement of is accusing law enforcement of corruption, is accusing law enforcement of setting her up, and most of their case is reasonable doubt because of how the investigation was conducted. And for some reason, this was not beaten into the heads of the jurors during the last trial. Doesn't matter. New trial, right? New trial. Here we are, new trial. And for some reason, Bev expects that in a fair trial for the defendant who is accusing law enforcement of setting her up, that it's a fair trial to Karen Reed if the prosecution tells the jury how procedure is supposed to be, and the jury is supposed to just know better. The jury's just supposed to know better. 12 civilians are just supposed to know better, right? They're just supposed to know what police procedure is. See, these are the things that make me say that there's corruption. Because there's absolutely no reason why a jury cannot. There's no reason why Karen Reed can't defend herself in the way that she sees fit. She knows what she's up against. So that's why she's able to come up with a defense strategy. That's why she hires lawyers to do this. And in this defense strategy, it is really important. And how this investigation was conducted, how this investigation was conducted determines whether or not Karen Reed's rights were violated or not. And a jury deserves to hear that. And Karen Reed has a right for the jury to hear this. Karen Reed has every right for the jury to see spelled out, picture painted as to how she's entitled to a fair trial and a fair investigation, and how she was in actuality not. But Bev, for some reason, thinks that this would cost Karen Reed a fair trial. Up is down, down is up. Backwards is forwards. Don't look here, look over there. Now Bev's doing it. Now she's been doing it. She's been a little more subtle about it. Oh, only a little. But now, so close to trial, she doesn't give a fuck. After today, I'm convinced of it. She's corrupt as fuck, and she doesn't care. I am absolutely convinced of it. Now, she goes on to say that Easter's proposed testimony concerns basic aspects of police investigation, which are within the common knowledge of a layperson. So, yes, there it is. In writing, Bev expects the jury to just know better. Bev thinks that if the jury doesn't know what common law enforcement practice is, then that's their problem. That's Karen Reed's problem. That's what she's saying in writing right there. And I'd love for a lawyer to come up here and tell me that that's any different. I'd love for any fucking lawyer, because I don't think that there's anyone that would disagree with me right now. That's why I'm saying that so fucking confidently. Bev is putting in writing in a court-filed motion or response to a motion, denying a motion officially, that she is denying Karen Reed of a right to her expert, a retired FBI agent, someone perfectly qualified. And yes, I agree with Bev in the sense that, yes, these things are simple. These things are common sense to a lot of people, but you can't assume that. That's not in the interest of justice for a judge to assume that a jury is going to know this collectively. That's incredibly irresponsible, especially when we're talking about things like police procedure. Because what the fuck does police procedure exist for? If not to hold a police officer accountable in a court of law, to protect everyone's rights. Bittersweets New York, thank you for becoming a member. Appreciate it. What do police procedures exist for? What is the point? What is the point of chain of custody? What is the point of memorializing witness statements? Case VH, thank you so much. Why are you now saying Colin did it? New evidence? I'll get to that, but thank you. Appreciate it. I'll get to that. So Bev just put in writing here that the layperson should know what police procedure is. And that's why she's denying this expert to testify on behalf of Karen Reed. Though zealous cross-examination of police witnesses, the defendant can cast doubt on the reliability of the investigation by demonstrating how it differed from standard practices and procedures, and can raise the issue of potential bias by police action or inaction, as counsel did effectively during the first trial. I thought the first trial didn't matter, Bev. I thought we were in a fresh new trial, Bev. Why are you citing the first trial? What does the first trial have to do with anything, as far as you're concerned? So Through zealous cross-examination, this is very fun here. This is fun. Through zealous cross-examination of police witnesses, the defendant can cast doubt on the reliability of the investigation by demonstrating how it differed from standard practices and procedures. Okay? Standard practices and procedures. The problem with that, Bev, is why they need the expert that you're denying in this very court document here. Because how is the jury supposed to definitively know? How is the jury supposed to definitively know what proper procedure is? What standard practices and procedures are? How is the jury supposed to definitively know this? See, these are the little games, okay? These are the little fucking things here that they try to do, because I'm seeing Bev do the same shit Spanky's doing. And that's one reason for that last super chat, by the way, to answer your question partly, because I'll get to it. That's in part why I say Colin did it. Liz, thank you so much. Not letting Mark on defense told me Bev wants her to be found guilty. I dislike Bev immensely. Yeah, that too. That's very telling. I mean, if you take everything that she's done and now add these things to it, Bev is absolutely fucking dirty. As far as I'm concerned, she's dirty as fuck. This is not a judge acting in the interest of justice. In fact, it is a judge who is acting in contrary to the interest of justice. I would dare to say deliberately. I'll explain. I believe that she is deliberately acting in contrary of the interest of justice due to the fact that the interest of justice is presented to her by Karen Reed's defense, motion after motion after motion after motion. It's all in writing. It's all on the record. Case law cited. Everything that you would need to go exactly why this person should be admitted as an expert witness. Exactly why this case should be fucking dismissed. Exactly why Michael Morrissey should recuse himself or be disqualified from this case. A lot. There's a lot, people. This is clear corruption. And I don't give a fuck what anybody says. Like, oh, no, she's taking any money or no, blah, blah, blah. I don't give a fuck about all that, dude. Like, that's corruption. I don't give a fuck how you slice it. I don't give a fuck if she's doing it because she's being blackmailed. I don't give a fuck if she's doing it because it gets her jollies off. It's fucking corruption. Period. Because what she's doing is justifying, she's circumventing a way for law enforcement to get away with violating Karen Reed's rights to a jury. She's creating that possibility. What she should be doing is putting the burden of the organizations that are part of that burden of proof, they should be in the hot seat with that jury. That is her job. In the interest of justice, she should be saying, okay, since you guys have to prove it, then you guys need to convince this jury beyond a reasonable doubt that your investigation was sound. That is what a judge's job is to do. That is in the interest of justice. But she will not do this. She will not do this because she is deliberately acting in contrary to the interest of justice. And it's in everyone's fucking face. Supported by testimony. Bowden defense supported by testimony elicited from police investigator that he did not conduct criminal history check on third party. He waited a week to interview him and conducted interview for only 10 minutes. Reports would have been admissible to show that the police were on notice of third party as a potential suspect, but that he was not investigated. Blah, blah, blah. Cross-examination used to elicit evidence that certain scientific tests were not performed during investigation. I mean, that's the thing. The other point of all of this, the other point of maybe why there was no case to cite in Massachusetts history that an expert was required to go up there was, yes, because law enforcement is expected. They're held to a certain standard. And in those cases, most likely, those cops were held to that standard by everyone. But the problem is show me one case, Bev, like the super chat from earlier stated. Show me one case where the person thought that she was being framed by two different police departments, a Norfolk County DA's office, and possibly a fucking judge. Show me one case. Because this is unprecedented. If you are denying this defendant any one of her experts, you are not acting in the interest of justice. Vivian, thank you so much. Hi, Will and Cherry, love you. I'm chat happy to be back. Thank you so much. It's good to see you, Vivian. Yeah, you haven't been here in a while. It's awesome. It's good to see you. Diane Gavin, thank you so much. I know I'm asking the obvious, but why is Bev destroying her career over this case? Because she is being grossly influenced. Shame on her. I agree. I don't know what the fuck is going on. But this is blatant corruption. Why you would deny a retired FBI agent, a credible retired FBI agent, to testify as an expert as to what typical standards are. Because, yes, in cross-examination in the last trial, like, yes, they had a good, they did a good job of showing that. But the problem was in so many other places, mostly how the jury was handled. Guys, I feel something real bad here. I got to tell you, like, these are my genuine feelings right now, where what I'm seeing is an evil on a level that I've never been so close to. Now, I've seen the news growing up, and I know there have been horrible, horrible things that have happened globally, even here domestically. I understand, but this is the scariest fucking thing that I have ever been this close to. Because as a civilian, there's always somebody I can call to help when something is beyond my abilities to help myself. We have that blanket, that security blanket, as civilians in the United States of America, that we have a justice system that we can count on. We can call someone to help. There's nobody to call to help with this situation. The people that we would call to help with this situation are evil. They're doing something so evil. This is the severity of what we're dealing with, folks. I don't want this to be understated or underestimated. These are the people that the people in Massachusetts locally have to rely on when they're in trouble. And they are blatantly trying to destroy collectively using taxpayer resources collectively to try to destroy one of their own. Two of their own, if you count Turtle Boy. I mean, that is fucking frightening. That is so scary. Like, imagine living in Canton and being free Karen Reed. Showing your face out there in those standouts all the time. You know what I mean? What happens if one of them get in trouble? Who are they going to call? Coy Hall, thank you so much. I appreciate you. Like, the feelings that are running through me when I see these things, from when I see Beverly Cannoni do this, because she's the judge, man. Like, the buck stops with her. You know what I mean? That's why I get so, like, seriously, like, right now, anger, sadness. There's so many emotions going through me right now. Helplessness. Because the buck stops with the person who wrote this nonsense in Norfolk County. There's nobody to tell her or hold her accountable except you. And yet she's created a buffer zone to where you can't. She's created rules to where you can't wear certain colors in the United States of America, in front of a United States of America courthouse. She's told you that you can't have certain words on your clothing. You can't carry signs. In my lifetime, have never seen this in the United States of America. Never seen this. Like, who holds Bev accountable? Nobody. I mean, it's supposed to be you guys, but you can't. You can't. She blocked you from being able to do it. This is crazy. The craziest thing I've ever seen. Yeah, so she allows the Commonwealth's motion to deny this fool. And then we're going to get into, hold on a second here. All right. So, got the memorandum of decision and order on Commonwealth's motion in limine to preclude the defendant from raising third-party culprit defense. The Commonwealth has moved to preclude the defendant from raising a third-party culprit defense. The defendant has alleged 3 potential third-party culprits, Brian Albert, Brian Higgins, and Colin Albert. For the reasons that follow, the Commonwealth's motion is allowed in part and denied in part. The opportunity to present third-party culprit evidence is guaranteed by the Due Process Clause of the 14th Amendment because it is rooted in the right of criminal defendants to a meaningful opportunity to present a complete defense. Interesting how she cites that in this motion or in this decision here, but doesn't apply it, completely disregards it in the last one. Fascinating, Bev. A defendant may introduce evidence that tends to show that another person committed the crime or had the motive, intent, and opportunity to commit it. There it is right there. Abrogated on other grounds by Commonwealth, blah, 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 blah. However, the defendant's latitude to introduce such evidence is not boundless. The defendant's ability to mount a third-party culprit defense is not without limits. Evidence that a third party committed the crimes charged against the defendant or had the motive, intent, and opportunity to commit the crime is admissible, provided that it has substantial probative value and will tend to prejudice or confuse the jury. And will not tend to prejudice or confuse the jury. Proffered evidence must have a rational tendency to prove the issue the defense raises, and the evidence cannot be remote or speculative. And Colin Albert, of course, is the first one she goes into here. And so there's a law in Massachusetts that says that you cannot prejudice or confuse the jury, which I find interesting because isn't that the entire basis of establishing reasonable doubt? Whatever. Colin Albert. As to Colin Albert, the defendant's proffer contains no additional evidence than that presented at the first trial, which didn't happen, did it, Bev? And it is insufficient to support a preliminary finding that Colin Albert had the motive, intent, and opportunity to commit the crime. Please. Oh, my God, please. The evidence of opportunity is wholly inadequate. There is no evidence that Colin Albert was at 34 Fairview when the defendant and Mr. O'Keefe arrived at the home. Now, that's the thing, is the trial hasn't even started yet. Trial hasn't even started yet. I mean, so how does she know what the evidence is and what isn't? And why is she weighing in on evidence when I thought judges aren't supposed to weigh in on evidence? That's a jury's job. So why is she weighing in on evidence? Is what I'd like to know. And I'd also like to know, that's if the trial hadn't even started yet, then what does she even know what the evidence is unless she's going by the first trial? But again, it sounds like she's being very defensive here. So you've got to also look at the actions, people. Look at the actions. Look at the way the words are put. Right? Colin Albert's the first name. She wants to fucking put that one up there first. Right? She doesn't try to butter up anything. She's defensive in writing this thing. I'm seeing her put in writing the same Bev that I saw behave in front of Alan Jackson when Alan Jackson addressed the issue of Fanning being in charge of the jury in the last trial. I remember I'm seeing that in writing right now. That same Bev. No. Colin wasn't in the house. There's no evidence that Colin was in the house. No. Mr. Jackson, Colin. There's no evidence that says Colin was in the house. That's what I'm seeing happening right now in writing. Aussie Steve, thank you so much. I'm sitting in Australia fucking outraged at this clear prejudice by this corrupt judge. Surely this needs to, the Department of Justice, surely by God, it's so obviously corrupt. All about the shades. It sounds like Bev's version of Morrissey's hostage video. It sure does. I was thinking that as I was reading it too. For a very split second, I asked myself if I should have been reading that in Morrissey voice. For a split second. This is, I mean, gross. This is just fucking gross. Already she's defensive and protecting Colin. It's really, really bizarre. The evidence of opportunity is wholly inadequate. There is no evidence that Colin Albert was at 34 Fairview. I mean, right. I mean, that sounds like, look, watch. The evidence of opportunity is wholly inadequate. There's no evidence that Colin Albert was at 34 Fairview when the defendant and Mr. O'Keefe arrived at the home. I mean, it sounds exactly like Michael Morrissey's fucking hostage video, bro. I'm reading it. And it's fucking Bev. Unreal. Evidence at the first trial was that Colin Albert had already been picked up by the time O'Keefe and the defendant arrived at 34 Fairview. I mean, she just keeps citing the first trial. Like, this is so unprofessional. This can't be ethical. This cannot be ethical that Judge Beverly Cannoni is up here citing. I mean, this stinks the same way that Morrissey's hostage video was. Like, it was jury tampering, but this isn't jury tampering. This is just gross because she shouldn't be doing this. She should not be doing this. Just like Morrissey should not have been making that hostage video. She should not be doing this. As to the motive, the defendant contends that Colin Albert had been in a feud with John O'Keefe in the weeks and months leading up to John O'Keefe's death, and that Colin Albert had thrown beer cans on O'Keefe's lawn and swore at him. There was, however, no evidence substantiating these claims at the first trial. Wow. Even if there was evidence of some ill will between O'Keefe and Colin Albert, motive alone is not enough to demonstrate third-party culpability. Wow, dude. Lady, you're something else. And the victim was not indicative of the neighbor's motive to kill, and the defendant offered. Hold on, sorry. And the defendant offered and produced no evidence suggesting that the neighbor had any opportunity to kill beyond that possessed by any neighbor. Wow, dude. Colin Albert did it. Biased Bev needs judicial immunity removed. I so hate her and have zero respect for this bitch. Dude, I feel you, man. I get it. Moreover, the theory that Colin Albert is the third-party culprit because he had scraped knuckles at some point after O'Keefe's death had been seen in a video drunkenly taunting others with no connection to O'Keefe, and apparently was not named in police reports is speculative at best. Third-party culprit theory that victim was shot by unnamed rival drug dealer was based on a rank speculation and properly excluded. Jesus, dude, she is really going above and beyond here. Am I crazy? I need a lawyer to fucking weigh in on that. Like, am I fucking crazy, or is she just going way over what any judge would ever do in a situation like this? But I guess you would have to have seen other cases where there were third-party culprit. Bex, member for a month. Thank you so much. This is Morrissey 2.0. Right. This is fucking crazy. Like she's shutting down. How can a judge do that? Like let me just put it simply. How can a judge argue the prosecution's case for them before the trial even starts? How can a judge do that at all? How is that ethical? How is that in any way in the interest of justice, in the interest of a fair trial for the defendant? Dude, this is, Bev fucking sucks, dude. Jesus. Scraped his knuckles, blah, 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 blah. Evidence that rival gang members lived near shooting and were involved in feud with victims, not sufficient to support third-party culprit defense, where there was no evidence that they had been nearby at time of shooting, and theory was speculative at best. Wow. Allowing such feeble third-party culprit of evidence poses a risk of unfair prejudice to the Commonwealth. What? And would only serve to confuse the jury. Unfair prejudice to the Commonwealth. The Commonwealth is already supposed to be unfairly prejudiced by the jury, since they're supposed to presume that the defendant is innocent. So if the jury is supposed to presume that the defendant is innocent, automatically, wouldn't that prejudice the Commonwealth automatically? I'm just saying. I'm not a lawyer, but I'm not a scientist either, but I do know cause and effect when I see it. I do see one hand washing the other. If a defendant is automatically presumed innocent by a jury, wouldn't the jury already be, by default, prejudiced against the Commonwealth? Somebody's got to be lying, right? Or at least mistaken. But nevertheless, that would prejudice the Commonwealth, wouldn't it? Shouldn't the jury, by default, be prejudiced by, shouldn't the Commonwealth be prejudiced by the jury going into it? Shouldn't the jury be looking at all of the evidence and asking questions? Isn't that the entire point of jury deliberation? Where they take all of the evidence and they question it. They analyze it, they question it. That is an act of prejudicing the Commonwealth. Because if you're taking the evidence that the Commonwealth claims is evidence, it is your job as a juror to go, how is this evidence? Show me why it's evidence. And make me not doubt it one bit. Because I'm going into this with doubt. Your job is to eliminate the doubt in me. Technical out. Thank you so much. Hi, sweetie. It's Piney Woods. Oh, hey. I'll call and discuss the legal issues if you open the phones. Bev has gone a bridge work too far. The Arnhem Road Bridge. I don't know what that means. She should absolutely be challenged here. Yes. Thank you so much. I don't know if I'll open the phone lines tonight. We got a lot to go over. I don't know if I will, but we'll see. But thank you so much, Piney Woods. It's good to see you. Liz, thank you so much. Again, sabotage is what she's doing. This is crazy. Kev, thank you so much. Annie Bev is trying to preserve the last name. This is bullshit. Keep up the good work, Lara. I'll do my best, man. Thanks for hanging out. Appreciate it. Yeah, like everything I'm reading right now is something that a judge should not be doing. I don't think that a judge should be weighing in on evidence and presenting the prosecution's case. Like, that's crazy. And then it goes, allowing such a feeble third-party culprit evidence poses a risk of unfair prejudice to the Commonwealth. Feeble. She even goes as far as to like use insulting, condescending terms. Feeble. Colin Albert did it. Oh my God, the Commonwealth won't go to jail if they get it wrong, but Karen will. Exactly. Right. That too. That's also a great point. It's so easy for them to just call this off. But they won't. Because they know that if they call this off, the public is going to demand that the true culprits be held accountable. People, make no mistake, that's exactly what's going on here. Okay? I want to be very, very clear about this. That is exactly what's going on here. Make no mistake about it. That what this is about, and this was in the defense's first motion to dismiss and disqualify Michael Morrissey. Okay? Goes back that far. But they were right about this. This stands. They know exactly that if they drop the charges against Karen Reed, if they fold, the public is going to demand justice for John O'Keefe. The public is not going to stop there. I'm not going to pretend like we are. Fuck that. No. The public is not going to stop there. We want justice for Boston police officer John O'Keefe. That's why we're here. Free Karen Reed, having Karen Reeds to free and Turtle Boys to free, that shit is just a fucking prelude to getting justice for John O'Keefe. And they know this. They know this. So Michael Morrissey is holding on like Chloe held on to John O'Keefe's arm. Michael Morrissey is holding on to this because he depends on it. The McAlberts depend on it. Because as soon as Karen Reed is exonerated of this, we want the people who did this to John O'Keefe. Make no mistake about it. We could get justice for Sandra Birchmore. You better fucking believe we can get justice for John O'Keefe. And that is why we are here. Make absolutely no mistake about that. But like I said, make absolutely no mistake that this is about the fact that if this is why Karen Reed is being railroaded to the extent that she is. This is why all these taxpayer dollars are going towards Karen Reed's wrongful prosecution. The reason why that's happening is because we are going to want justice for John O'Keefe. We're not going to stop. And the people who killed John O'Keefe are going to be held accountable. And that is exactly what they're trying to avoid. This isn't about framing Karen Reed. This is about protecting the McAlberts. They're doing whatever it takes to protect the McAlberts. They're not doing this. It's not personal against Karen Reed. They don't give a fuck about her. This is about putting someone away so that nobody comes around sniffing around and going, where's the justice for John O'Keefe? They get to go, oh, well, the justice has been served. The court of law determined she was guilty and now she's in prison. That's what they're counting on. Make no mistake about that. This is not personal against Karen Reed. She's just the person being used to protect the McAlberts. Because somebody murdered John O'Keefe inside 34 Fairview on the early morning hours of January 29th, 2022. That is a fucking fact. And it wasn't Karen Reed. And now it goes on here to say, accordingly, evidence that Colin Albert is a third-party culprit is excluded from trial. Commonwealth's motion to eliminate to allow is allowed as to Colin Albert, meaning they can't use him as a third-party culprit. Then she goes on for Brian Albert and Brian Higgins. As to Brian Albert and Brian Higgins, the defendant's proffer is barely sufficient. And the history, look at it. She just has to fucking take a jab right there. You see that shit? Like, that's way, you see what I'm saying? This is personal for her, man. This is fucking personal. This is personal like maybe it would be to, I don't know, an auntie. This is fucking personal. Like right there in the first line, it's they barely made the cut. I barely allowed this to be for Brian Higgins and Brian Albert. Like the first line. Look at this shit. As to Brian Albert and Brian Higgins, the defendant's proffer is barely sufficient. It's a jab at the defense. It's so crazy. And the history of the first trial casts doubt on the seriousness of the claim. However, to protect the defendant's right to a fair trial and recognition of the fact that the defendant has no burden to prove anything under the law, the court will take the same incremental approach as it did the first trial. The defense counsel are ordered not to mention potential third-party culprits in the opening. Wow. Yeah, we don't even need to read all that. This is just unreal, dude. Like, I mean, let's talk about how the proffer was barely sufficient for Brian Higgins, right? Brian Higgins, who had the hots for the victim's girlfriend. Dirty Hanky, thank you so much. Bev is too emotional for this job. She was hand selected. She is completely complicit. I completely agree. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. So, yeah, let's talk about the barely sufficient Brian Higgins proffer, right? Let's talk about how Brian Higgins, the guy who is buddies with Brian Albert, was out drinking with him all day, but for a couple of weeks prior to the incident in question, he's texting with the victim's girlfriend, the defendant. He's texting with the victim's girlfriend, the defendant, and as hard as those texts are to get through, because once you pull, listen, dude, I'm going to go off a little bit here, a little detour, but once you pull someone's man card and then there's no more, it's like driving on a rim. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like you're doing it because you're getting through the fucking texts. But once you already pulled the man card, because the dude's man card got pulled in the first fucking two texts. You know what I mean? Like, so the rest of that is just like, fuck, dude. Like, have you ever seen a vagina? Ever? Have you ever seen one up close? Not on a fucking television screen or a laptop screen? Have you ever? Like, that's it's hard, dude. It's hard to fucking like once you like because you pull the dude's man card way long back before you even get to where you're convinced there's motive. You know what I mean? And trust me, you get to the point where you're convinced there's motive. Because she ends up giving him a kiss, and he's still not getting the fucking hint. And then she ends up at his house, and it's so awkward that nothing fucking happens, right? Like the dude fucking froze. Dude, I'm trying to tell you, man. Like, I don't understand. I don't understand, dude. When a woman is that forward with me, dude, like I'm at full disclosure, I'm gonna get kind of personal here. But when a woman is that forward with me, dude, that is fucking great. That is a surefire way for me to burn that woman the fuck down. I am gonna wear her out because she was so bold to be that forward with me. If there's an attraction, of course. If there's an attraction. There's no fucking way that I'm going to deal with that the way that he did. That's why, dude, that's basic man shit, dude. That's not because I'm special or anything. That's basic man shit. I sat here, fucking listened to this fucking sat through these text messages being read painfully in this guy's voice during trial, the last fucking trial with Turtle Boy on panel with me. And we were just both like, oh my fucking God, dude. Are you fucking kidding me, dude? Like, like, and it kept happening. Like, there's this, you see an opening and you're just like, all right, man, here you go, dude. What's your response to this? And then you're just like, oh, fuck, man. Are you sure you like me? Because I got, you know, because, you know, I'm just not sure. It seems kind of strange that you text me out of the blue. Dude, she like went out of her way, got your number, texted you, told you were hot. What the fuck do you need? So what this is going to do to a man with what I suspect to be micro penis syndrome, what this is going to do to a guy like that, I mean, because the rest of his life just kind of says it. You know what I mean? You know, Jameson and ginger. Yeah. Jameson and ginger. You know, and fucking it's like the ATF thing, you know, and it's like it all just kind of adds up. And I'm not saying that dudes who are in the ATF have small dicks. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that all of the other stuff, along with being the ATF agent, talks about him having a fucking micro penis syndrome, bro. That's all I'm saying. You know what I mean? Like, imagine a girl at the bar. Guy goes, yeah, give me a Jameson and ginger. And she's like, she hears that shit. And the dude's like, as soon as she says Jameson, she goes, and then he goes, ginger. And she goes, oh. Like, guaranteed. Immediately, she's like, small dick alert. Boop, 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 boop. Looks away. Gone. Done. Over. That's it. That dude is burrowing mice, bro. That's all he's doing. And so, right there, this dude's going to have a complex, right? He's going to have a complex. He's playing grab ass. Fast forward, 34 or fucking Waterfall Bar and Grill, right? He's playing grab ass after he's drinking all day. They're kind of fucking feeling weird. They were at a cop's funeral in New York. They're drinking, driving back. Who knows what? Who knows what to keep them fucking alert for the road? You know what I mean? I don't know, but I see a lot of this kind of behavior where I'm just kind of like, that looks a bit like.
Yes! I like it.
I mean, drinking all day, driving from New York to Boston. Just saying. And then playing grab ass, you know, at the waterfall, getting amped up. I'm a bigger fucking stupid gorilla than you. Come here and touch me. That kind of shit. Like, fucking booze and blow, dude. Oh, there's this girl there. Blah, blah, blah. He starts talking to fucking Brian Albert about it. Texting. Well, after being ghosted for like 2 weeks, right? I think it was. Well. And then sure enough, what happens? What happens? Nothing. Right? Then directs his, it's on video too, by the way. He directs his anger towards John O'Keefe. And then there's this whole plan to go back to 34 Fairview. Karen doesn't really know much about it. She's got a weird feeling about it. She's like, I'm not sure if we're invited. She knows it's kind of weird. Probably already knows that it's going to be awkward because fucking No Game Higgy's going to be there. And then sure enough, and I'm pretty sure John knew about Brian Higgins. He knew about him. He knew that there was some fucking shit going on between him and Karen. He just wasn't sure if he should give a fuck about it or not. Because I've been there too. Like, just like I could relate to the dick that he was being that day, because I can relate to that, to the dick that he was being, a cold-blooded dick that he was being that day. I can relate to that. And I'm not saying that he is a dick or was a dick. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying he was acting like one that day. And it could very well just be all the pressure that he was feeling from everything. And Karen was just the easiest person to be cold and shitty to. And that has been me many, many times. But just like that, I also know what it's like to fucking be like, well, you know, like, shit, hold on. Colin Albert, dude, Higgins is lame as fuck. No game whatsoever. No, yeah. That's been established. Thank you so much. Yeah, like I could relate to that. You know, I could relate to him being cold and whatever, you know, but I like, I understand where it comes from because, like, you just don't really know how to deal with a lot of pressure. You know what I'm saying? And you're also, a lot of the things you've been dating this girl, you don't know how serious you're going to take her for the rest of your life. It's starting to get to that point where you need to start thinking about that. Like, where are we at? Been dating Karen for a while now, you know, and my priority are these 2 kids. And is she going to fit into this long term? Is this going to be something? And so he's concerned about this, and he's coming off he's got a wall up. And Karen, she sees this shit. You could tell in her text messages. She's very respectful to his feelings, and she's saying, hey, can we meet? Maybe have a drink, have dinner, talk about it, whatever, blah, blah, blah. She's extending olive branch after olive branch. He's being kind of shitty about it. But I think it's genuinely coming from a place on his end where he's just like, I don't know. And so He knows this shit's going on between her and Higgins. He just doesn't know if it's something that he needs to fucking concern himself with. He doesn't know if it's something that he needs to let himself get upset about. He's not sure yet. He's not sure of how he feels about Karen. As shitty as that might sound. But I would assume that that's the case, considering he dealt with the situation. Considering how he handled the situation, you know, like he asked her about it, you know, are you hooking up? He never seemed angry. You know what I mean? John strikes me as the kind of guy that was going through a bunch of shit and just figured, like, I'm not sure if this is even a thing to get pissed off about. Do I see her as long-term enough to where I'm going to get pissed off at these people who are supposedly my friends? Is she trifling? Is this guy a douchebag? I don't know. He doesn't even know what to make of the whole thing. Then Higgy gets all fucking aggressive towards him. So, of course, him not knowing what to make of everything, he's just looking at him just kind of like, okay. Because he's smiling in the footage. He's like, all right. And then he ends up going over there after getting a text saying, are you coming over here? Meaning, Higgy knew that John O'Keefe was privy to a plan of going over to 34 Fairview. Whether that was something that he was screaming to him across the bar when he was being aggressive, or whether it was just something that they was mutually discussed among the people there. JFK, turbulence in the chat. What's up, homie? Do you think someone ran the phone out of the house the 83 feet? I don't know. I don't know. I keep seeing people talk about that. I don't know about the phone. Because I'm still trying to process the timeline. Me and Olivia talked about it the other night. So I'm still trying to, like, there's the timeline with the phone, and it's really fucking weird. But to me, it determines that John went in the house. Like, he couldn't have. I mean, why would Jen McCabe lie about that call? But I don't want to get off track. Let's talk about something else. Let's get to that later. Well, I want to stay on the Higgy subject here. So so now Higgins, the last person, one of the last people to communicate with John O'Keefe in person on camera, is doing so aggressively. And for some reason, this is not an issue that's being brought up, which I'm sure will be brought up this time. I guarantee it will be. I guarantee it. So that's Auntie Bev's. Is, what did she say? It was weak at best. Barely sufficient is what she said. Barely sufficient. All of that shit that I just named, all of that shit that I just went over in a rant, is barely sufficient to consider this guy a third-party culprit. But I haven't finished yet. Then after the fact, he lies to a grand jury about where he goes after he goes to 34 Fairview. He goes back to the Canton PD. He's seen making a call. He lies, says he didn't make any calls. Then he destroys his phone, pulls his SIM card out, destroys it, makes his way into an army base to do it, and destroys his phone, gets rid of the SIM card. But no, none of that's barely sufficient to consider this guy a third-party culprit. And then, of course, there's the There's the ARCA experts who testified that John O'Keefe was not hit by a vehicle and no vehicle hit John O'Keefe. Period. Full stop. So, I mean, there's all of this. And I love that there's people that are just like that still will boldly be like, is now at this point, it's not people who think that she's guilty anymore. It's people who just want to see her convicted because they want to be right. That's where it's at now. Like when you look at the idiots that think that Karen Reed is guilty, like you look at the stuff that they post, it's fucking comical. It's comical. Dude, like, this is how one of these idiots took it. Colin is clear. A judge literally just stated that there was no evidence he was at the house when they were there. He will win big time in defamation suits. See, the thing is like, this is the kind of stupid and ignorance. This is somebody who watches too much TV. Okay? This is a moron. Because somebody should tell her that it's not a judge's place to state that there was no evidence. The evidence hasn't been reviewed yet. The evidence has yet to be reviewed in a court of law. This is presumptuous. It's unethical. It's stating something as fact. That's exactly what's wrong with what's going on here. Judge Bev did something entirely unethical in order to, one could only conclude, to protect Colin Albert. So yes, to answer that super chat from earlier, this makes me think that Colin Albert is guilty. The fact that this judge seems to be going out of her way, and it has been brought up that she has familial ties with the Alberts. We also know that Judge Beverly Cannoni's brother represented Chris Albert when Chris Albert killed a man back in the 90s. That would be Colin Albert's father, by the way, in case you're new to this. So, and then there's the whole anti-Bev thing. There's all that. So, the fact that Judge Beverly Cannoni, there was enough that she should have recused herself from this case 2 years ago and did not, speaks volumes. What this does confirms it. This confirms she is clearly protecting Colin Albert. There is clearly a network of people with connections, with political ties in Norfolk County that have skin in the game to protect Colin Albert. That is clearly what's happening here. I don't give a shit what anybody fucking says. There's way too much evidence to dictate this. There is way too much evidence to dictate this. Because this is not what a judge is supposed to do. This judge is protecting Colin Albert. I mean, it's just that simple. Because there was inconsistent testimony, and I believe it was David Yannetti that had, I think it was Caitlin Albert on the stand, who proved that her timeline was bullshit, which proved that Colin Albert was, in fact, in the house. Thank you so much. Colin Albert did it. Bex. Bro, all these a-holes have later day plans. This is just fucking wild, man. And I'm going to be making a lot of memes with this picture, by the way. That's right there, Farwell, hugging up with Michael Morrissey, with Maura Healey, the governor of Massachusetts. Just laughing it up and yucking it up. I mean, is there a more fitting picture right here? Is there a more has the corruption in Norfolk County in Massachusetts been captured better than in this photograph right here? It's just crazy, man. Oh my God. Yeah, and then Sue O'Connell starts whining again. Just tweets, "There's no need to be nasty," or whatever the fuck. Diane Gavin, thank you so much. And let's not forget daddies who videos and audios everyone who wants pizza. Seems like Colin has more power than any judge. It sure does. It sure does. I don't know what the fuck is going on there, but all I know is Karen Reed is innocent and she's being railroaded. And the people who killed Boston police officer John O'Keefe are being protected by the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. Plain and simple. That is a fact. I mean, what the fuck else am I supposed to think? What's Thank you, Colin Albert did it. No, they don't have any shame whatsoever. Let's go over this.
Jackson.
Thank you, Mr. Albert, who did you talk to in order to prepare for your testimony starting yesterday?
Like, I've never been more convinced that Colin Albert had something to do with Boston police officer John O'Keefe's death than I am after Beverly Cannoni excluded him from the third-party culprit defense. It's like, I've never been more, like, again, the Streisand effect right there. I've never been more convinced. Like, I doubted him to some degree. I've always been more of a Higgins. Higgins has always been my guy for this. I didn't doubt that he had something to do with it, but I just didn't, but never have I had less doubt than I do today, thanks to Judge Beverly Cannoni's latest decision.
Can you rephrase that question, please?
Rephrase the question. You didn't understand my question?
No.
Who did you speak to in order to prepare for your testimony yesterday?
My lawyer.
Other than your lawyer, who did you speak to prepare for your testimony yesterday?
No one.
You didn't speak to your parents?
No.
You didn't speak to your mom, your dad?
Nope.
At any time before yesterday about your testimony or your statements?
Nope.
Did you discuss with your parents?
Right there, that's such a fucking lie. You're going to tell me that those people are not sitting there spending the entire night prior to this, prepping this kid, grooming this kid. Look at him. He can't even fucking think for himself. Clearly he can't. Like, this kid cannot, someone is absolutely pulling his strings. He is not depended on to talk for himself. It is clear. If anybody asks you if we had this conversation, you say no. That's what went down, because nobody in their right mind believes that Chris, Cole, nobody didn't sit there and talk to this kid about what he's going to be talking about today. You going to tell me Brian Albert sat there, the uncle that he looks up to so much, and went, listen, kid, you just get up there and you tell the truth. And that's it. You got nothing to worry about. I guarantee you that didn't happen. I guarantee you that didn't happen. Oh, Shastny. Okay, thank you for that, Mizzy. I appreciate that.
Their testimony.
No.
So after they got off the witness stand,
And Mizzy is going to be on Justice Serve TV. I think Wednesday, right? I'm stoked about that. That's going to be awesome. Excited.
your dad didn't come home and say, here's how my day went.
No.
Your mom didn't come home and say, here's how my day went.
Nope.
The Albert family just ignored the fact that both of them testified in a court of law before a jury about the events of January 29th, 2022.
Right.
Nothing was ever said.
No.
Right. Sure.
Did you talk to Mr. Lally at any point before yesterday in preparation for your testimony?
Before yesterday, you said?
Correct.
Yes.
Tell me when.
Want to say a month ago about.
What did you talk about?
I got prepped for this.
Tell me what that means. What does it mean to prep for this?
What I'm going to be getting asked.
Okay. Remember my first question, very first question this morning? I said, have you spoken to anybody in order to prepare for your testimony? And you said no.
Dude, he looks like a fucking 5-year-old that's testifying. He looks like a 5-year-old that a fucking child victims advocate is asking him questions. It is the craziest shit. It's a grown man right there, bro. Like, he can't even think. And you're going to tell me, and he just fucking said that he got prepped for.
Yeah.
So that's not true. Spoke with Mr. Lau.
Okay. Yes.
It's not okay. It's yes or no.
Yes.
You said that was about a month ago, correct?
Wow, bro.
Correct. Around a month ago.
Tell me what, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to.
Around a month ago. That's it.
Tell me what you and Mr. Lally discussed.
The questions I would be asked here.
Can you be more detailed?
I don't remember everything he said.
Did he go over the questions that he believed he would ask?
I believe so.
Did you give him answers to those questions that you believed you would give in response to his questions?
Yes.
What questions did he tell you he was going to ask?
I don't remember.
What answers did you tell him you were going to give?
I don't remember.
That was just a month ago, right?
Yes.
Obviously, you've been thinking about this case quite a bit, haven't you?
Yeah.
Over the last 2.5 years.
No.
How long have you been thinking about this case?
Since people started writing about me on the internet.
How about since you were at a house where an individual ended up dead on the lawn the next morning? Did that prompt you to start thinking about this case?
No.
Not so much, huh?
Nope.
No, of course not. Why would a dead cop ending up on the lawn that everybody on the news is talking about at your uncle's house, why would that be something you would ever think about. Of course not. Sure. Yeah, we believe that. We believe that you only started paying attention to it once Turtle Boy wrote about you, right? Okay.
Did you speak with, when Mr. Lally spoke with you, who else was there?
The witness advocate, I believe, and
Steve Nelson?
yes.
Who else?
And is it Sergeant Tully, I believe?
Tully, T-U-L-L-Y?
I believe so, yes.
Okay. Anybody else?
Not that I remember.
Sergeant Tully taking
Bukkake.
notes while you were having this conversation with Mr. Lally?
I do not remember.
Mr. Lally taking notes?
I do not remember.
Do you remember being told by either Sergeant Tully or Mr. Lally that your conversation was being recorded?
I do not remember.
How long was that meeting?
Say 15 minutes, 20 minutes.
Were you given any instructions by either Sergeant Tully or Mr. Lally about your preparation for your testimony?
Can you rephrase that, please?
Sure. Did they give you any instructions about your the preparation for your testimony? How they wanted you to answer questions? The tone
No.
and tenor of your testimony?
No.
How they wanted you to dress, for instance?
No.
No. Yeah, because that's how he dresses, right?
Other than that time a month ago, have you spoken with Mr. Lally or anybody from the DA's office since then, before yesterday?
No.
You watched any coverage of this case online?
Nope.
No social media?
No, I don't have social media.
No news?
He doesn't have social media, right?
Coverage?
He doesn't have social media. No. Right.
Nope.
Nightly news, Channel 25, Channel 5?
No.
National news?
Nope.
Blogs?
Nope.
So literally, according to you, you know zero about the media coverage concerning this case, Commonwealth versus Karen Reed.
Correct.
Wow.
Did you talk to Allie before her testimony?
No.
When was the last time you did talk to Allie?
Oh yeah,
before she
Allie
testified?
McCabe that was the person I was trying to think of.
I don't remember.
Give me an idea. She's one of your best friends. A week ago, a day ago, a month ago.
Yeah,
I do not remember.
Her testimony was
Could have been a year ago?
bullshit.
I do not remember.
Okay. Could have been 5 years ago.
No.
Okay. So it's more recently than 5 years ago that you spoke with Allie.
Bruh.
I don't remember.
Bruh.
So you have no independent recollection as you sit here. The last time you talked to one of your best friends and your cousin about any subject.
No, I don't remember.
Were you ever told in preparation for your testimony?
We don't
if you
make
start to get
mistakes.
stumped
We
or
have happy
nervous,
accidents.
Just say I don't remember.
Nope.
Nobody ever told you that.
Mm-mm. No.
No.
No. Sorry.
It's okay. So nobody ever informed you that you might get nervous on the witness stand. There might be tough questions. Easiest way to get out of that is just say, yeah, I don't recall.
No.
So you just don't recall because your memory is
No.
that bad. You literally don't recall the last time you spoke
No.
with Allie.
No.
Objection.
No.
Ask that
No.
differently,
No.
Mr. Jackson.
No.
Sure.
Hell no. No.
Your
No.
testimony is you are not
I refuse-
instructed to
no.
say, I don't remember. You just literally don't remember.
Correct.
It's an issue with your memory, not an instruction that you received.
Correct.
Right. But you do remember 2.5 years ago, you left 34 Fairview at 12:10 a.m., correct? Down to the minute.
Correct.
Did Mr. Lally, during this meeting that y'all had, did Mr. Lally show you anything? Items of evidence, photographs, videos, anything like that?
No.
Did you two talk about any evidence that you might see?
Colin.
Photographs, documents,
Or
videos?
should I say Colin?
Not that I remember.
He didn't show you the series of text messages between you and Miss McCabe, Allie?
I don't remember.
Okay, so you're not saying he didn't. You're just saying, again, you just don't remember.
Correct.
And this was just a month ago.
Around a month. Correct.
Could have been sooner than a month. Let me ask that a different way. Could have been more recently than a month.
I don't know.
Don't know that either.
Mm-mm.
Is that no?
Yeah, no.
So
That's his
Mr.
brain,
Allen, you
by the
have to
way.
answer yes or no, not just,
All right, sorry.
Where were you when this meeting a month ago took place?
At the DA's office on Shawmut Road.
Who contacted you to come to the DA's office?
You can do it. Come on, buddy.
I do not remember that.
Don't remember that
Oh,
either.
come
No.
on, man.
Phone call from Mr. Lally, maybe?
You can remember something. Come on.
I don't believe that I received a phone call. Maybe my lawyer did or my father, but I don't know. I don't believe I did.
So if your father received a phone call and then told you need to go to the DA's office to meet with Mr. Lally, that would be a conversation with your dad about your preparation for your testimony, right?
Yeah.
I wouldn't say so, no.
You would
Oh
categorize
my
that as
God,
such.
bro.
No.
Okay. Because of course, even though you went to the DA's office to meet Mr. Lally and a sergeant from the Massachusetts State Police to talk about your
Remember
testimony,
something, Colin.
you didn't
Remember
mention that to
something,
your dad.
buddy. Come on.
No.
you mentioned that to your mom.
Fuck.
No.
And when you got done with that meeting, Dad didn't ask you, how'd it go, son?
Nope.
Your mom didn't say, how was that meeting
No.
about this massive murder case?
Objection.
Let me ask you a different way. Do you consider this to be a high-profile murder case?
Objection.
stand on relevancy, ask it differently.
In your mind, this is an important case, correct? Obviously.
Correct.
But according to you,
He got one,
it just never
guys.
comes up in the Albert household.
No.
You were asked to look at a couple of text messages yesterday. Looked a little bit like this. You seen that before?
Yes.
When did you see that before?
Yesterday
Before yesterday? Had you ever seen that before?
on my phone. Yeah.
Okay, other than on your phone when you made the screenshot, did you ever seen that before? Mr. Lally ever show it to you?
Not that I remember. No.
So you two didn't discuss that in your meeting a month or less ago?
We could have. I don't remember.
But again, you don't remember.
Mm-mm.
Is that no?
No.
No, 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 no,
Did
no,
Mr.
no,
Lally
no.
tell
Wait,
you
wait,
why
wait.
he wanted to question?
Wait.
I don't remember.
Did Mr. Lally tell you anything about what you might be asked on cross-examination?
No.
Did he ask you about any videos that you've ever posted?
No.
Did he ask you about any comments you've ever made online?
Nope.
Any photos you've ever been in?
No.
Any fights you've ever been in?
Nope.
Oops.
Who's Courtney Proctor?
Who's Courtney Proctor? Who's Courtney Proctor?
You're lying. And you're a piece of shit.
She's friendly with my aunt,
Friendly with my
Jillian.
aunt.
I'm sorry?
my aunt Jillian. She's friendly with.
When you say friendly with, describe that. What do you mean by friendly with?
I know that they're pretty friendly.
Have you ever been to Courtney Proctor's home?
Yes.
How many times would you say over the years?
4 or 5, maybe.
Wow.
Her family is close to your family.
Right. Yeah. Because, that's normal. Right. There's no motive for Trooper Michael Proctor, who's now fired. There's no motive for him to protect this guy, is there?
It's fair to say.
Not that close. Close though.
When you say not that close, but close though, what does that mean?
I'd say we're more close when I was younger, not when I got older.
Okay. How old are you now? You're 20?
Correct.
Your Honor, may I approach?
Okay.
I have a photo I'd like to show Mr. Lally first. May I?
Yes.
Thank you. Take a look at that photo and tell me if you recognize it. Just look at it to yourself, please.
He looks like the male talent in a Seduced by a Cougar flick.
Let me know after you studied it for a second.
Yep.
You recognize the photo?
Yes.
Who's in that photo?
Objection.
Are you sure he's not going to come home? I just
The objection sustained is to the content of the photos. Did you want to come to sidebar and explain this to me?
Okay.
Mr. Albert, approximately when was that photograph taken?
Objection.
No, we can get that, but we'll answer that question.
10 years or less ago, I'd say. I don't.
You were the ring bearer in Courtney Proctor's wedding, were you not?
Objection.
I'll allow that.
Correct.
I'll allow
So
it.
when you say we're friendly,
I'll
but
allow
not that, or
it.
we're close rather, but not that close, you were actually close enough to be a member of her wedding party when she was married to her now husband, correct?
When I was younger, correct.
Well, of course it was when you were younger. It was
Mhm.
10 years ago.
Mhm.
Is that yes?
Yeah.
That's my question. So for at least a decade, your family and the Proctor family has been close enough such that you and Albert were in her wedding, correct?
Objection.
Ask that differently, Mr. Jackson.
For the last, well, at least at that time, 10 years ago, your family was close enough to the Proctor family such that you were a ring bearer in Courtney Proctor's wedding, right?
Correct.
And who's Courtney Proctor's brother?
Michael Proctor.
And is Michael Proctor in the photograph that you're looking at?
Yes.
Person on the far left,
Correct.
looks like he's in a tuxedo.
Correct.
You were also in a tuxedo.
Objection.
Sustained.
What I'm getting at is you all were part of the same wedding party, correct?
Correct.
And that's a photograph of Courtney Proctor's wedding and the entire wedding party, correct?
Objection.
Sustained.
Is that a photograph of a wedding party?
Objection.
Sustained.
Your Honor, may we approach?
Yes.
Can I have that, please?
May I approach, Your Honor?
Yes.
Thank you. Mr. Albert, I want you to look at that one more time. Both you and Michael Proctor.
Yeah,
are in the
it's
photograph,
it's
correct?
it's funny because Bev's treating him like he's a fucking 10-year-old. Like she's been doing it his whole life.
Correct.
How long have you known Michael Proctor?
Since I was a little kid.
And you've known him well enough to know, I don't want you to tell me or tell the jurors, but you know where he lives.
Bev, be honest, Bev. You dressed him for court today, didn't you? You dressed him for court today, Bev. You know you did.
Yeah.
You consider the Proctor family close to your family.
Yeah.
During the course of, for instance, just as an example, during the course of this event, joyous event at a wedding, you actually sat at the head table along with the Proctor family because you were given the honor of being the ring bearer in Courtney's wedding, correct?
Correct.
And you know, of course, that being in a wedding party is reserved for the most special family members and friends, correct?
Objection.
Sustained.
In your mind, was that a special honor?
Objection.
Is that what you thought when you were little? When you were in that?
I'd say so, yeah.
Okay.
And you were never interviewed by Canton Police Department in connection with this case, correct?
Oops.
No.
How many times were you interviewed by the Massachusetts State Police in connection with this case?
Once.
And that was in July of 2023, correct?
I don't remember exactly when it was.
About a year and a half after the events in question. Is that right?
So right there, people. Chris, the limited edition. Thank you so much. Awesome show, Will. Exactly. Perfect. The eve of Free Carry 2.0. Keep up the amazing work you do. Free Carry, Free Turtle Boy. Agreed. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. Right there, that's very telling. A year and a half. It took Proctor a year and a half. Proctor, who he's probably seen who knows how many times within that year and a half, because his family is so close. It took Proctor a year and a half to get his statement as far as his perspective of the events of that night. Isn't that a little relevant? Don't you think? Maybe a little. I don't know. Unreal, man.
Right?
Around there.
Okay. Would it refresh your recollection if you saw a copy of a report of that interview? Just to get the date?
Sure, yeah.
May I approach you?
Yes.
I may have just a moment, Your Honor.
Yes.
Take a look at paragraph 1. It's in the middle of the paragraph. If you'll just read that to yourself, please. You got that?
Yeah.
You saw the July 18 date,
Yes.
2023?
Yes.
Does that refresh your recollection that that was the first time you were interviewed by the Massachusetts State Police?
Correct.
May I approach, Your Honor?
Yes.
Thank you.
Hey, amazing. He did it again, y'all.
Who conducted that interview?
Michael Proctor and one of his partners, I believe. I don't remember.
Michael Proctor was the lead investigator that interviewed you, correct?
Correct.
That's the same
No,
Michael
let's-
Proctor that appears.
Let's also talk about the fact that not only did it take Michael Proctor, the lead investigator in this case, a year and a half to interview Mr. Colin Albert over here, but it's Michael Proctor. There's no conflict of interest there. There's no conflict of interest that this guy and him are practically family. Bev's just allowing this. Bev thinks this is okay. But, you know, of course, there's no evidence. There's no evidence that the Massachusetts State Police might be protecting Colin Albert, because this is what she's doing is this way. The way to not look like you're totally like directly protecting Colin Albert is to protect the Massachusetts State Police in the process. The problem is that she's in a position to where they named him as the third party culprit and she had to protect him. She felt like she had to. But she's been able to circumvent this look of protecting Colin Albert by just protecting the Massachusetts State Police. As long as she protects the entity that is already directly focused on protecting him, she's protecting him. Right? But now that little charade is no longer there. I have never been more suspicious of Colin Albert being one of the culprits of that night than I am after Bev excluded him. I find that fascinating.
Here's on the far left of the photo of that wedding party, correct?
Correct.
Did you find that interview, by the way, how long did the interview last? Michael Proctor.
I do not remember.
Do you remember testifying at one point that it was about 10 minutes?
No.
You testified at a different hearing, a different proceeding, not this proceeding, one other time, correct?
Correct.
I may have just a moment on it.
Yes.
When he answers a question, like when he answers a question that's not, I don't remember or I don't recall, he feels so accomplished. It's so funny to watch him go. Correct. Like you just see his fucking wheels turning and shit, man. Your name. It is Colin Albert, correct? Correct. This kid kills me, bro. So funny.
May I approach?
Yes.
I need a foundational question first. I apologize. It's my fault, Mr. Albert. Do you believe it would refresh your recollection as to the length of that first interview if you were to see your testimony from a prior proceeding?
Yeah.
May I approach you?
Yes.
Yeah. Like a caveman that just discovered fire.
Direct your attention to line
Yeah.
18 and 19 of that transcript. Let me know when you reviewed it. Is that yes?
Yeah.
May I?
Yes.
Does that refresh your recollection?
Yes.
How long was that interview?
Which interview are you?
The interview that you had with Michael Proctor. That's what that question was about, that you just read.
I still don't remember.
Do you recall that it says that you testified? Question, how long did
Objection.
the interview last for?
Objection sustained where his memory is not refreshed. You can do this differently, you know that.
Did this refresh your recollection as to the question and answer, how you answered the question, how long that interview lasted?
Yes.
Okay. Did you say 10 minutes?
Yes.
So during the course of that 10-minute conversation that you had with Michael Proctor, what was the tone of that interview? You understand what I mean by tone?
I do not understand.
Okay. Was it hostile and accusatory?
Not that I remember, no.
Was it antagonistic or confrontational?
Can you use different words, please?
Sure. Was he being mean?
No.
Okay. He was being nice, right?
Professional, I'd say.
Yeah. Because you've known him almost your whole life, right?
Yes.
He was friendly, cordial,
I love that shit.
Correct.
and the interview was comfortable.
Say it again.
The interview was comfortable.
It felt
Correct.
good.
You didn't feel like you were on the hot seat.
Nah.
No.
No. I didn't feel like I was in the hot seat, Mr. Jackson, because my Uncle Mikey, what I like to call Trooper Proctor, bought me my first porno mag.
Did you find that the interview with Michael?
He caught me and then he had a talk with me and he saw that I was using my mom's Sears catalog and he bought me my first porno magazine.
Michael Proctor was consistent with the relationship
Uncle
that you
Chip.
had with him your whole life.
Oh, it's Uncle
Meaning
Chippy. I
He's
forgot.
always been friendly to you. He was just as friendly in that conversation.
Not really, no.
How is he different?
I'd say more professional.
Okay. Obviously, he was doing a job, correct?
Correct.
But when you walked in, you recognized him.
Yes.
He recognized you.
Yes.
You made natural greetings with one another, correct?
Correct.
That shit is just so funny, dude. Uncle Chippy, no, knock. Oh my god, dude, I can't. Oh my god.
Questioned you about a few things.
Correct.
He didn't look at your phone. He didn't ask to take your phone away from you.
No.
He didn't ask to seize your phone or seize any other physical items from you.
No.
You weren't asked to come down to the police station and sit in an interview room or an interrogation room, were you?
No.
Matter of fact, where did the conversation take place for those 10 minutes?
In the DA's office on Shawmut Road.
DA's office on Shawmut Road. Who else was there other than Trooper Proctor and his partner at the time?
Uncle Chippy, no, I'm doing a project. No, Uncle Chippy, you're supposed to knock.
I'm Trooper Clark.
Can you
Who
repeat?
else was there? Was it just Trooper Proctor, Michael Proctor, and Clark?
Oh my god, dude.
Yes.
Okay, so it was just the three of you.
Yes.
And Trooper Proctor was the one that was sort of leading the conversation.
Yes.
And then when it was done, he said, "You're free to go."
Correct.
And he didn't take your phone.
Nope.
He didn't ask you to look at any text messages.
Where's the fucking, hold on. Isn't there like a, where's the rest of that shit? That's annoying. Sorry, I'm trying to find the.
I published the
Put it into evidence first.
move for the admission of just EE.
So you need to get it to the court reporter.
May I, I'm sorry, just FF.
I think this is the other
May I approach?
part of
Yes.
that. The rest
E or
of
FF?
his,
Let me have
the rest of his cross.
FF. Two. Nothing was ever said.
No.
Did you talk to Mr. Lally at any point? At any point before yesterday in preparation for your testimony?
No, we already.
Did this refresh your recollection as to the question and answer, how you answered the question, how long that interview lasted?
Yes.
You testified that you provided Exhibit 81, what we were just looking at, and you're still looking at in front of you, as a screenshot of your communication.
Oh, here we go. Yeah, this is what I wanted
On
to
January 29th, 2022.
do. Here we go. Okay.
So you're putting it in evidence before you display it?
May I approach one more time?
Yes.
Mr. Lally.
Here we go.
So
Bang,
you
bang.
recognize those two documents.
Yes.
Taking a look at the one that's got multiple documents on it, I don't want you to tell me what's on it. Just tell me if you recognize the picture that's in the middle to the right.
Yes.
Okay. And then looking at the second document, which I believe is marked EE for identification at this point, does that appear to be a true and accurate enlargement of the first thumbnail?
Pull up, bitch.
Yes.
And those were taken on that photo was taken on February 26, 2022.
Yes.
At the place called, I think it's called Fenway Johnny's, right?
Correct.
May I publish the
Put it into evidence
sorry,
first.
Put it into
for the
evidence.
admission of just EE.
So you need to get it to the court reporter.
May I, I'm sorry, just FF. May I approach?
Yes.
EE or FF?
Let me have it. FF.
Okay, give it to Madam Court Reporter to put the exhibit number on it.
The exhibit 85, you want to make it, excuse me, FF.
Ma'am?
Yes.
Do you see that photograph that's being displayed?
Yes.
Are you in that photograph?
Yes.
Which person are you?
In the middle.
And about what time of day was it? That's you in the middle?
Correct.
Okay. About what time of day was this taken?
Not sure.
Was it at an event of some sort, or just you were at a bar?
Just at a bar.
Okay. I want you to take a look at your right hand. Can you see from there clearly your right hand?
Yes.
What do you notice about your right hand?
It's cut up.
Your knuckles are injured, correct?
Correct.
Now, you didn't take this photo, did you?
Nope.
That photo was never on your phone. In other words, it wasn't a friend of yours that took the photo. Correct?
No.
This was taken by an event staff member, is that right?
Correct.
It was later posted on social media, isn't that right?
Correct.
You could not access the metadata. You couldn't access the time and date of that photo, correct?
I'm not sure what you mean by
You
that.
couldn't manipulate the time or date this photo was taken?
No.
This photo is completely sort of out of your control, isn't that right?
Correct.
And it was controlled by the event staff at Fenway Johnny's.
Correct.
And on February 26th, less than a month after the incident at Fairview, that's what your right knuckles look like, correct?
Correct.
And this is a true and accurate depiction of your condition on or about February 26th, correct?
Correct.
How'd you get those injuries, Mr. Albert? We can analyze that.
I was at a party, a house party my senior year, and I remember it being icy out, and it was kind of like a steep hill of a driveway, and I was walking up the driveway, and I slipped down the driveway, and I tried to catch myself, but I had something in my left hand, so I.
Now, see that right there? See how I just looked off right there? Watch this. Now, I'm no body language expert. I'm no criminal profiler.
And it was kind of like a steep hill of a driveway, and I was walking up the driveway, and I slipped down the driveway, and I tried to catch myself, but I had something in my left hand, so I tried to brace myself with my right hand, and I ended up sliding a little bit down the driveway.
Now, everything about this kid's testimony so far, we've been sitting here watching him for a while now. And everything about his testimony, he's had to really think about just for yes or no answers. Yes or no answers. I don't recall. And we're talking about things that happened just within the last couple of days. He's been asked about conversations that he might have had with Lally, conversations that he had with his parents, his family. And what he's doing here is very, very interesting, because before he couldn't even remember. He would go, correct. I don't remember. No. Not like somebody who's trying to remember what's going on and what's happened in the last couple of days. He's answering those questions like somebody who is trying to remember what he's supposed to say based on what he was coached to say. So when I hear him answer something so detailed, a situation that happened 3 years ago, right? A situation that at the time happened, 2 years ago. He 2 years old, but he understands and he remembers every detail. It was slippery, except he doesn't remember what was in his hand. He doesn't remember whether it was, we haven't gotten there yet, but he doesn't remember if it was his phone or a drink in his hand. Two very, very close objects in the elemental chart. In the what do you call it? The periodic table of elements. Two very, very similar things, right? A drink and a phone. So could be either one. Who knows, right? Couldn't remember if he was trying to call somebody on his drink or take a sip of his phone. So, but you know, he remembers he was at a party. He remembers the conditions of the ground. He slips, and then he tries to catch himself. Yeah.
What'd you have in your left hand?
If I remember, it was either my phone or a beverage.
So according to you, you fell on ice and injured your knuckles, as we just saw in that photograph, right across the top of your knuckles.
Correct.
So you fell onto what, pavement, asphalt?
Yes.
And you braced yourself when you fell, your entire body weight, by putting your right hand down in a fist, and you injured your right fist, just the top of the knuckles on your right fist when you fell down.
Correct.
Seriously?
Objection, Your Honor.
Sustained.
I wish I could have seen Jackson's face when he said seriously. Word on your knuckles. You used your knuckles to break your fall. Okay. All right.
You didn't put your palms down when you fell?
No.
You fell your entire body weight on your right fist and just injured the top portion of your knuckles. Right?
Correct.
There you
Those
go.
injuries to your knuckles look an awful lot like the type of injuries that you would get in a
Objection,
fight.
Your Honor.
Sustained.
You ever been in a fight, sir?
Other than with my brothers, no.
Oops.
You've never been in a fight
Nope.
your entire life.
Other than with my brothers, no.
Never.
Now, this is a fond memory of mine where I get to see like how Turtle Boy works. Because this was happening in real time. This was happening in my still getting to know you phase of Aiden Carney Turtle Boy. And like that, like fucking lightning. Turtle Boy had video of Colin Albert in a fight. And then like lightning, after that video surfaced, he surfaces another video of Colin Albert in a fight. So, I mean, that's the thing. It's just like, this was a fun trial to follow in that sense, because it was like, all right, I'm sitting here streaming this live and I'm checking Twitter, and then sure enough, there's Turtle Boy with a tweet going, oh, Colin Albert says he's never been in a fight before. Here's a video of Colin Albert in a fight. It's just great. And I can't help but think of the Alberts being Like when that shit happens, you have to like you that's the thing, man. Knowing that the Alberts are just such fucking dirty, rotten motherfuckers, right? Just knowing this about them, like when Turtle Boy uncovers something like that as quickly as he does, you can't help but take pleasure in visualizing, imagining the Alberts seeing this. Like seeing this unfold the way that we did on social media, you know, just like, oh, I think the testimony went pretty well. Yeah, I think it went, well, wait, what the fuck is this? Is that you? Oh, I don't even know when they took that. I didn't, when they asked me about it, I didn't remember. Oh, yeah, that was that one time. Yeah. You could have told us about this. Oh, well, so ridiculous, dude. Like, I'm telling you, this is the worst shit in the world, but I can't picture it. Like, when they make a movie of this, it's going to be a comedy. It's going to be a fucking dark comedy. Watch and see. I'm telling you, man, I'm pulling for Soderbergh. This has got Soderbergh written all over it.
Never hurt your knuckles before.
Not sure what you mean.
Never hurt your knuckles in a fight.
No.
And in this case, when you fell down on the asphalt, it was only the top 4 knuckles of your right hand, correct?
Correct.
You right-handed or left-handed?
Right-handed.
You box?
Nope.
I'm sorry, you don't box?
Nope.
You've never boxed?
Never.
You ever practice boxing?
I've hit the bag for like cardio, but other than that, no.
When you hit the bag, is that considered boxing?
I wouldn't say so. Not
It's not jumping
really.
rope, is it, Mr. Albert?
No.
It's not doing curls.
I mean,
Nope.
It's practice boxing. It is. I mean, it's not sparring, but it's practice boxing. Sure.
Not doing push-ups or calisthenics.
Nope.
It's hitting a bag, correct?
Yeah.
That's boxing, right?
I'd say yeah.
Yeah.
He got another one, guys. He got another one.
When you
Amazing. Where is that shit?
when that
There it is.
photograph was taken at Fenway Johnny's, those knuckles look like they had been re-injured from a prior injury. No?
No.
Just falling on the asphalt.
Correct.
Any other cuts or scrapes from that terrible fall on the asphalt?
Objection, Your Honor.
I'll rephrase it. Any other cuts or scrapes or injuries from that fall?
I don't remember.
That terrible,
Just your right knuckles.
terrible fall.
Objection, Your Honor.
I'll rephrase it. Any other cuts or scrapes from that terrible fall on the asphalt?
Objection, Your Honor.
I'll rephrase it. Any other cuts or scrapes from that terrible fall on the asphalt?
Objection, Your Honor.
I'll rephrase it. Any other cuts
She's such a dick.
or scrapes or injuries from that fall?
I don't
Oh,
remember.
God.
Just your right knuckles.
Yeah.
You said you've never been in a fight before.
Nope.
Did you post a video? You threatened that you're going to.
Objection, Your Honor.
The objection sustained. I'll see you at sidebar on this. I'm familiar with this.
Oh, I know about this. Hold on. I've got an opportunity here to protect him. Let me do that. Hold on. Excuse me.
apologize for that, but we'll be a little bit. So we'll send you out for the morning recess.
All right, to the court, please.
The morning recess.
Mr. Albert, you stay right where you are. We're going to see a couple of short videos, and then Mr. Jackson will ask you questions, and then Mr. Lally will ask you questions. Then then I'll hear from the lawyers, and then I'll take a break, and you'll get a break before we go back. Okay?
Yeah.
Did you have a lawyer present?
No, I do not.
Okay. All right. So the first one, they're both on the same, they're separate.
I separated them.
All right, so let's mark them each for identification.
The one I'm holding in my right hand,
Bring it up,
I'll call Advantage.
okay?
Advantage boys. Pull up, bitch.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Advantage boys. Pull up, bitch.
The one in my left hand, with the court's permission, I'll call this Bang Bang.
I'll call this bang bang.
All right, thank you. All right, so play GG first, please.
Yes, Your Honor.
Young Advantage boys, I will beat all your asses. I promise you, I will fuck you all.
And right there, the jury knew that Colin Albert was a fucking liar.
Bitch.
Okay, and the next one, please.
Fuck you now. Fuck you. Before, boy, you be knocked out. KO. Bang, bang.
Okay.
Bang, bang.
May I inquire, Your Honor?
Yes.
I'm going to take those two videos one at a time. I'm going to call one the Advantage
May I call him out on his bullshit, Your Honor?
boys and one the Bang Bang video. For purposes of my questioning, Mr. Albert, specifically regarding the Advantage Boys video, did you recognize it?
Yes.
How did you recognize it?
What do you mean by
How
that?
do you recognize it? Is that you?
Yes.
Okay. When was that taken?
Maybe my sophomore year in high school. Around.
Where were you?
I don't remember.
Okay,
Where
so your sophomore year in high school, that's about 3 or 4 years ago?
Yeah, around.
You indicated on cross-examination you've never been in a fight.
No.
Indicating that you have no violent tendencies and no violent proclivities, right?
Nope.
What were you saying on that video?
That I would beat them up.
I
Did
will
you say you
fuck
would beat
you
them up,
up.
or did you say, I will fuck you up?
I said I will F you up.
No, you didn't say, I will F you up. What did you actually say?
That I would fuck them up.
You also said something about beating somebody's ass, right?
Correct.
What did that mean?
That I would beat them up.
So when you said, I will fuck you up and I will beat your ass, was that a friendly invitation?
Friendly invitation.
That was a threat, correct?
Threat, bitch.
I don't know if I would call it a threat.
Don't?
I'm not sure.
Someone walks up to you. I'm not going to do it. But if someone did, walked up to you and said, I will fuck you up. I will beat your ass. You wouldn't take that as a threat?
If they walked up to me, yeah.
But if they didn't walk up and just shouted it across the street and stood there and said, I will fuck you up, I will beat your ass. That's not a threat.
I'm not sure.
Jackson's an
Yeah, I
artist,
think
dude.
you are sure, sir.
All right, so that I'll strike at the Commonwealth standing up.
Sure, sir. Not a threat.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think you are sure, sir.
All right, so
You
that
are
I'll
sure.
strike at the Commonwealth
I
standing
think
up.
you are a fucking liar, sir.
Were you threatening these Advantage Boys guys, whoever they are?
Yeah, kinda.
Were you
Kinda.
threatening them with violence?
Kinda, yeah.
Yeah. In the second video, you said,
No, that's standard for her to like for any judge to like have that stricken from the record, but Jackson just wanted the jury to hear it. Like you can't put the toothpaste back in the tube, as they say.
fuck you a number of times. And then you said, KO, you said, pull up, KO, bang, bang. Right?
Correct.
Explain that to me.
I'm not sure. Like, explain what I said.
Is that a threat?
Yeah.
Pull up, bitch. Right?
Yeah.
Who are you talking to?
Those same advantage kids.
Got it. So you're threatening them yet again a second time.
Yeah.
What does pull up mean?
Like, come by.
Yeah, meaning get over here. Right?
Yep.
Because when you do, I'm going to
Come by. It means come by. Come by so I can beat your butt. Okay, dude. I can beat your butt. Bing, 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 bing.
I'm going to fuck you up, right?
Yeah.
Meaning I'm going to fight you and I'm going to put you down. Correct?
Correct.
That was your threat to them.
Correct.
Can we get a time on this second one?
Of course.
Like,
Who was the
dude,
second one?
no jury is buying
the
this
bang
shit.
bang threat made before or after the Advantage Boys.
The jury's just not buying this shit, except for Ronnie. Ronnie's like, he dresses like me. I'm just fucking around. Actually, Ronnie was one of the people that was fucking totally not buying this shit.
I'm not sure.
After?
Might have been this same night. I really don't know.
Well, you're dressed completely differently, so it's probably not the same night. You would agree with that?
Unless I could have changed my shirt. I do that often.
Okay. So you changed your shirt, and on the same night, you just decided to threaten the guys twice. Is that what you're saying?
Maybe.
You're not sure?
I'm not sure.
Was it
Not
around
sure.
the same time frame?
Around, yeah.
All right. The fact of the matter is, Mr. Albert, you do like to fight, don't you?
Nope.
The fact of the matter is, you showed up at another hearing, at another proceeding, to testify, and you showed up with busted knuckles then too, didn't you?
Busted knuckles.
I do not remember.
You're lying.
July 27th, 2023. Do you remember being at another hearing?
Yes.
You remember being questioned by some attorneys?
Yes.
Do you remember the question about the condition of your fist? Literally at the hearing?
Yeah.
You're a
It
little
was obvious to the person that was questioning you that you had an injury to your fist, correct?
Objection.
That's sustainable.
I'll rephrase that. My apologies, Your Honor. You were asked questions by the questioner about the condition, the physical condition of your fist, weren't you?
Correct.
And you claimed at that time, well, let me back up for a second and ask a different question. They were asking because you had open injuries on your right knuckles yet again, didn't you?
Correct.
Twat!
You said, it must have been hitting a heavy bag, right?
Yeah.
Boxing again.
Hit in the bag, yeah.
Just working out, right?
Yep.
Didn't have any injuries on your left hand, though, did you?
No.
How many times did you hit a heavy bag?
Just
Not sure.
I just hit it with my right hand. That's
A
all.
heavy bag. That's an unfair question. I'll ask a better one. How many times have you worked out on a heavy bag?
I'm not sure.
When you work out on a heavy bag, you wrap your hands, don't you?
I do not know.
I see.
Oh,
only your
shit.
right hand gets injured
Looks
over-
like we
over-
got us a
over-
regular.
name is John Cena!
I'm not sure.
Yet again, you're right-handed, aren't you?
Yes.
So when you throw a haymaker, your hardest punch, that's with your right fist, right? Is
Objection.
I'll allow it.
that right?
I would say they have equal. They're equal. I don't know. Not
That's
sure.
all I have.
All right, Mr. Lally.
I'm retarded?
Thank you, Your Honor.
Jesus, bro.
Mr. Albert,
Okay, smartass. Let's see what this
when
mystery's
those
all
videos
about.
were made, you were a sophomore in high school, is that right?
Around that, yeah.
How old were you when you were a sophomore in high school?
So how do you like
16 years old?
to ride that horse
That would have been
sometime.
a couple years
Ooh,
before
yeah.
2022, correct?
Yeah.
And as far as within those videos, well, as far as timing, so those videos were around the same time, both
Fucking
sort of
Lally, dude.
same time
Boy,
period,
cunt.
Correct.
Jesus.
and relatively close to each other. Is that correct?
Correct.
And who or what is an advantage?
It's a club hockey team.
Who or what is an advantage,
What,
boy?
if any, relationship did you have with that club hockey team?
None.
And so, as far as
Okay.
what videos,
So
you
why
were
did you
made and
address
sending,
them
were
in a
there any
video,
videos
bro?
From that group that were made and sent to you.
Text messages.
Tell us the truth. What do you really think about the advantage, boy?
We got a special disliking for these bungolas.
And with regard to those text messages, generally speaking, what do they say?
Just name calling me and my friends, calling us like pussies and stuff like that.
So this was sort of a back and forth. Is that correct?
Correct.
And do you even play hockey?
Nope.
And were these
But I got beef with hockey
people around
boys.
your age at that time?
Yeah.
And were they kids from the same town or different?
I don't even know where they're from.
Did you even really know these kids or what their names were or anything like that?
Not at all.
And
Jesus, dude. So why the
was
fuck
there
did you
ever
address
any
them in a
sort of,
video?
physical fight or even a physical interaction with these other kids?
Never.
Did you ever even meet them face to face?
Never.
And with regard to Mr. O'Keefe, your neighbor who lived at the top of the street when you lived at Seven Meadows, you ever threaten him?
Never.
Did he ever threaten you?
Never.
Did you ever have any sort of back and forth exchange similar to what was up on the screen?
Never.
I have nothing further on.
Okay.
Very briefly.
No offense, but
You
you are a
indicated-
stupid asshole.
Mr. Albert, that this was your sophomore year in high school. But you were asked that exact same question under oath, the time frame of these videos in that other hearing, weren't you?
I believe so, yes.
You indicated under oath in that hearing that it looked like it was your junior or senior year in high school, correct?
Maybe I'm not sure
Not sure.
exactly what I said.
Your senior year would have been what year, sir?
2022. 21, 22.
Same year John O'Keefe died.
Correct.
Dude, this kid is such a fucking asshole.
Yes.
Fucking entitled. You know how I know? Like,
That's
I
all.
don't even have to fucking know him, bro. Like, I don't even have to know him, dude. Like, I've seen the behavior of his fucking father. That's all I need to know. I've seen the behavior of his father. I've seen his father encouraging and showing and setting the example of being a complete and utter motherfucking douchebag. And a fucking twat on top of it. You know, like with the whole fucking camera thing, like, dude, Jesus, man. You know, like, there's no way that I'm going to think that that kid has got good fucking roots, bro. That kid is a fucking asshole. You know how I know he's an asshole? Because his parents are fucking assholes. I know this for a fact. I've seen video fucking evidence after video evidence and fucking action after action from his father. Dude, Chris Albert sucks. Like, he fucking sucks. Like, there's no way that this kid's examples set him off on the right path. There's just no fucking way. There just isn't. You just imagine having a guy like Jim Ferris hanging around your kid for fucking years. Dude, like, what kind of father would I be if I had... Seriously, think about that shit. What kind of father would I be if I had a guy like Jim Ferris hanging around my fucking kid for years? That's fucking crazy. That right there is poor parenting. Whatever. The fix is in. Guys, I'm going to be live tomorrow streaming. So my McLeans, I hope you guys will join me. I love you guys a lot. But yeah, we're going to stream the first day of jury selection, see what that's all about. I really want to take an interest in the jury selection this time around, because I don't know too much about it. So I want to get more familiar with it. So if you guys will join me for that, I'll be very, very grateful. But you guys are fucking fantastic. I love hanging out with you guys. Please make sure to hit the like if you enjoyed this. And if you guys are not subscribers yet, make sure you are, and make sure to hit the notification bell. Make sure you guys know when I go live. And for all the support, man, you guys are amazing. Thank you guys for all the support. I love you guys a lot, man. Seriously. I had a blast. Thanks for hanging out with me. I love you very much, and we will do this again very soon, my friends.